One really cool feature of the Micro850 and Micro870 PLCs that have the E in them, is such as a L50E or an L70E, is they support implicit messaging, which is similar to how we add devices to our I/O configuration in Studio 5000. Now, as cool as that is, if we can connect to them over Ethernet, we also need to know when we have a connection issue. And several of you have asked me, hey, how do you do that, Tim? And my answer has been, well, it's a fairly new PLC. Rockwell will implement that hopefully soon. Well, it's been a year and they haven't implemented yet. But I did come up with a way I think that we can solve this. Is, first of all, if you're not sure what we're talking about, if you double click the PLC in the left pane, in this case the Micro850, you may only see Ethernet here. If you only see Ethernet, you do not have one of them that can do implicit messaging. Inside of that, we have modules. And right here, these are modules similar to the I/O configuration of Studio 5000. Now, if I unplug my Ethernet cable from the PowerFlex 525, I immediately get a code 203, and it tells me connection request timed out. But to my best of my knowledge, they have not made this where we can actually get this data out into our PLC. The only thing I've come up with to fix this is we are going to make a message instruction and get the device who, which is a service class and instance of one. So let's talk through how to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and go offline. And you don't need this PID program. It's just the one that I'm working on right now. But I'm just going to add a rung at the top of it and bring down an instruction block. And then let's double click on it and type MSG. And that'll bring up our messages. And we want a send SIP explicit message. Give that a double click. And then we're just going to start filling all of these out. Actually, I'm going to try something because we don't actually need the request length or data. So I wonder what happens if I don't put anything in. We're going to find out here. So I'm just going to double click on the first one. And notice it fills in the data type for us when we do it this way. So I'm going to put MSG control. I'm going to make this one my MSG app. I'm going to make this one my MSG target. And I'm going to try to skip these two because I don't need them. And we're going to make this one my MSG RES data. And then I feel like the status is the big one that we're going to want to work with here. So I'll make this my MSG status. Whoops. Let's go back in there and see if I can spell that status a little better. I don't think I need this one, but something, this may come in handy because I think we're going to have a little issue with that RES data. So let's get an MSG RES length. Okay, now let's just take them one at a time and fill some items in. So let's double click on our message control and hit the arrow by it. And the big thing is the trigger type here. Its default's going to be 0, which means it's only going to trigger when the run goes true. I'm going to put 1000 in the project value. That's going to make it trigger every 1000 milliseconds or once a second. Oops, and I always do that. Let me show you what I just did. I don't know why I struggle with this so much. That's a really convenient way to come in and change your tag value. This OK button will fill it in with whatever you're on. As crazy as it sounds, I needed to hit the cancel button there. Now let's double click on the MSG app and we'll open it up. And mainly we want this service, class, and instance. The device who is a 1 and all of these. Now, if you're like, wow, how do you figure something like that out? Well, if we go over to Studio 5000 and we go to a message control, I can select the device who here. And that tells me service code 1, class 1, instance 1. And that's where I got it from. So that should be that. And it did it again. I feel like this is not the way this part should operate. There we go. All right, I'm going to try to leave these blankets. We may have to come back and fill them in, but I don't think we need them. We're not going to need that. So we just need to go to our target now. And the target is slightly tricky because you have to know, one, we have to know our IP address, and I'm not even sure what that is. So I'm going to go over here. And there is the IP address, 192.168.20.102. If you're experimenting this with our standard trainer, it's 192.168.112. But there's a little more to it than that because we got to tell it which port do you want to go out. So if you look at the Micro850, it has an Ethernet port. It has a USB port. It also actually has 2 serial ports built into this little round connector here. So the Ethernet port is and there's actually more because I think the backplane counts as one because you could have communications adapters and I think these might count as one. But anyway, if you go through the help file, you will find that this port, the Ethernet one, is 4. So we're going to open that up, and in our target path, we're going to put 4, comma, and then we're going to paste that in. And I think that's going to be enough to get us there. So let's go ahead and download this program. And if we went too fast through creating a program or you're not sure how to configure your communications drivers, and look down the description, we have a whole course that will walk you through all those steps. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button because, yeah, we put out at least one video a week. And whoops, okay, we did get a build error. So I should have known that would not work. So back to us, just turn the warnings off because that has to do with the other video I'm working on. Message, target, unconnected timeout expecting. Honestly, I'm not sure why I got this. Oh, I did it again. I don't know why they make it like this, but yes, I do it every time it seems like. So we'll take that out. This time I'll use the build button to make sure there's no more errors because I kind of thought leaving those 2 blank would give me an error, but apparently it's not going to bother it a bit. And now it says that it is ready to download. And then we'll put it back in run mode. Okay, and now I want to go in and look at this message status right here. And if we open it up, then, okay, I'm a little surprised. It's saying a value of 5. Okay, it's saying a value of 5, and we're going to figure out what the 5 is. But let's see what happens when I plug my cable in. So I plug my cable in. Okay, all right. So we can definitely use this to determine that we're communicating. Now, initially I was going to leave it right at this and say we could use that status bit, but now we are properly running this drive and we have an error. And I think that would cause us confusion later on. So let's figure out what error code 33 is and sub error ID 48 is. So I'm going to cancel. And I wish there was a way I could show you this, but in the Studio 5000, we can right click and go to instruction help. And this, you can just hit the F1 key and that'll bring up your instruction help. And then we're going to look at our status and the SIP status data type. And we need the error codes. Here we go. We want the error code. So 3348, the instruction blocks input data array size is not sufficient. And okay, I kind of thought this was going to happen. And what I was hoping along with that, I was hoping it would give us a link there. But what's happened is by default, this is not large enough because it's only 1 cell wide and it's trying to send more information than that back. Now, I don't know how much information it is. So I'm going to go offline. I'm going to double click on that and I'm going to make it, instead of 1, it's going to make it 100. We can always tweak it later, but I want to see if that will get us there. We'll hit the cancel button this time. And download that. Then we'll put it back in the run mode. And okay, now we have, all right, well, that was what I was hoping. So now we know it needed 44 and I threw 100 in there. But let's look at these status bits now and see what we can do with those. So the status bits are 17 when we're connected. And when I disconnect, they go to 5. I plug back in, 17. Okay, so now let's open that up and let's see what bit that is in here. So we have, when we're connected, we have 0 and 4. And we disconnect, we get, all right, so mainly we're switching between bit 2 and bit 4. So those are the two we need to understand. So we're going to highlight it and hit F1 again. And going to go to our status. We have bit 2 when things are sad, and we have bit 4 when they're happy. All right, let's take that one step further. Let's disconnect and bring down 2 new rungs. And here's one of those perfect examples where I know a lot of people say I shouldn't teach y'all latches and unlatches, but the done bit is going to be intermittent. I get the feeling, depending on when the message is executing. We do want to latch and unlatch probably. So we are going to grab bit 4. That's our good bit. So let's go look for a 1 down, and we will go grab bit 4. That means that we are in a sad condition. So notice I don't actually have the set. Oh no, I do have the set there. There's the set. And we're going to say power flex connection fault. And whoops, we need to create that. And then we want almost the same thing. So I'm going to right click that rung and copy, and I'm going to right click that rung and paste. And bit 4 means that we are good. Bit 2 means that we're good. There's a really cool feature, and I forget, several of you have pointed it out in the comments now. If you didn't know it, I can't really show that I'm hitting the space bar, but while I have this highlighted, I need the reset. Hit the space bar, changes the actual thing in the middle. So there's how you can cycle through them, and we want the reset on that. And let's go ahead and download this. Then we'll put it back in run mode. And so right now it is saying that our connection is, oops, did I get those backwards? I get them backwards. Because right now, 2 is on. Oh, I did get them backwards. So when you plug it in, status 4 was the good bit. And so this is not connection faulted. This is connection good. I can't rename that online and connecting components workbench. So let me fix that because I don't want there to be any confusion there. That one should have been 2. This one should have been 4. And then let's download that. And we'll put it back in run mode one more time. Now our connection is good, and it can be difficult to tell with the color codes. I'm not very fond of the color codes that they've chosen for connected components, but we can see the connection fault is unchecked, which means it is not faulted. Then I'll pull the PowerFlex cable, and now we have a checked box. Now, I'm going to be honest, I hope this video is obsolete very soon because we can still get a lot more info with that dialog box that Rockwell already has set up in the Ethernet settings. So hopefully they will port that out where we can pull that data somehow, or maybe somebody will tell me in the comments what apparently all of us have missed. Now, if you didn't see the video where we're actually setting this up, then here's a playlist that includes setting up the PowerFlex 525 and our encoder over IO Link. See you over there.